Most bands have a guy in there somewhere, one, but not L7, and they're really an important, special band, and we actually got to see them like the week before the shoot, which was pretty exciting after they hadn't been on tour in 15 years. The sort of like bulk of the writing of the movie was done because of and around the 2016 Guns N' Roses reunion. Because when I was thinking about their reunion and listening to podcasts about it, and then seeing it and being moved, and seeing like Axl, Slash, and Duff taking a bow on stage together after, 20 some odd years, I was like, I know what this movie is now. And I'm very keyed into like what has his behavior done to these bandmates over the last 25 years. And then what if all that behavior came from a woman instead of a guy?
This role was very, very challenging. I know that's like kind of what all actors say about roles. The way that Alex wrote it was so authentic with the drugs that she is on and in certain acts. It was just literally hard to remember the lines. It was hard to say them. The speed with which she spoke, the thoughts that made sense in her mind but in nobody else's that connect. So it was really difficult, and it required a lot of energy that I don't usually have. So it was very challenging, but it was fun too. I had to listen to a lot of stuff that I didn't listen to, that I'd never listened to before, and watch a lot of stuff. But I was more into like classical music. I was like a ballet dancer and listening to like jazz. So I could name you like any like Gershwin song, but I couldn't tell you like who Nirvana was. Now I know that's cool. At the time it wasn't cool. So no, this was a kind of like an immersion into a world that I didn't really know that well, which I thought was really kind of fun. Luckily, the kind of music that we were doing, it's not like I was doing Broadway, so I didn't have to like hit a high C. And
I didn't have to learn what a high C was, aside from the Ecto Cooler beverage.
It's much more about the passion and the idea and the movement and the ideals behind that kind of music, and the ideals behind our band, and what this new band kind of stood for. And it was much more about that than being able to sort of sound pretty.
Everyone sang or learned or played in the movie to one extent or another. Yeah. So it's not just Lizzie, but everyone's vocals are in the movie, and everyone's playing is on camera.
You're looking at some really wonderful women. It wasn't really hard. We didn't really have to try to gel, I guess. But it's interesting because in this concept, it really shows how women were pitted against each other, whether it's the industry or there's only space for one band or something. And to be able to, in the film, come through that and all be there to support, well, especially your character the most, through addiction and coming together, I think was a really beautiful journey that we captured. One
of the interesting things about our film is that we don't follow the rise of her or her band, we follow the demise. So it starts with her starting that descent and that band starting to lose their grip on their place in music. So that enabled us to really kind of get into and show the effect that addiction has on the people around you and the people around her. That's why this cast was so important to sort of fill out in this incredible way that we were able to do it, because the stories around her of how people are affected by her addiction are just as important as her story of her own addiction.